More than a dozen world leaders are coming here to San Francisco this week for the annual APEC summit. And the city is making a big push to clean its image up, literally. Hundreds of public workers clearing homeless encampments, picking up trash and washing graffiti, hoping to hide the city's recent struggles with crime and drug use in a once thriving downtown. Critics say the timing of this cleanup is purely political.
I know folks say, oh, they're just cleaning up this place because all those fancy leaders are coming into town. That's true, because it's true.
All hail the king, I guess, or Emperor Xi Jinping. Isn't it amazing how these leftists and how these rich people in Hollywood and the tech space and the banking industry, isn't it amazing how they all kowtow to one man? Gavin Newsom telling the people to their faces, look, you've been living in squalor. San Francisco has been a shithole for years, but we didn't give a damn about that. We didn't give a damn about people ODing, homeless people out there with mental illnesses, doodling on the ground, people high on coke, robbing stores. You can't have businesses in certain areas because of the crime. We could have did something about that. We had the resources to do something about that, but we didn't give a damn. When Trump was in office and he said, let's clean up the streets, let's look at these liberal cities like Portland and LA, San Francisco, let's do something about that. Maybe I should send the military. Do y'all governors, do y'all need military assistance to deal with the squalor and the shithole statuses of your cities? Do y'all need that? And they said, hell no, Trump, stop being a racist piece of shit. But when Xi Jinping comes, all of a sudden, poof. I guess the magic one is real, because one day we saw doo-doo on the ground. We saw homeless people. We saw people out there coked out, laying all over the place. The city streets were dirty as hell. It was looking like a third world country down there. The next day, they cleaned up. All of a sudden, the people who were laid out on the street, pissing on themselves, all of a sudden they were gone. I don't even know where the hell they went. I'm still wondering, where the hell did these people go? But for King G, I guess, for the person that all of these rich people kowtow to, who Governor Newsom, Joe Biden, them, all of these people who they are afraid of, all of a sudden, San Francisco is the cleanest city in the world. Even though China has its own issues, and cities in China don't look all clean and glorious. But let's talk about it. This is the Vice Signal Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the Bicycle Merch Store, your premier source for thoughtfully curated merchandise that celebrates traditional values and is committed to the indispensable idea of government restraint. Explore our unique collection, starting with the Supreme Style tinfoil hat, a statement piece that embodies our commitment to critical thinking and pushing back against the norm. Make a statement with the Free Trump shirt, boldly displaying the captivating mugshot of the former president, which instantly became the most famous picture in the world. At the Bicycle Merch Store, we're more than just products. We're a community dedicated to celebrating and defending traditional values. Sign up for promotions and receive 10% off your very first order. Don't miss out on these exceptional items. Embrace tradition, champion freedom, and shop now at tbsmerch.com. The boss man is here. Old King G of China came to San Francisco. So they had an APEC conference, some summit. Stands for Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, something like that, where you have all these big wigs, people in the banking, financial sector, trading, all of these governments. It's a really big deal because a lot of money flows between East Asia and the United States and Canada. So this conference where all these people get together, talk business, talk about how things are going to go in the future. So there was speculation for months. Is G going to come? Is G going to come? And there were rumors that he was going to come, but when they finally found out that he was definitely going to come, Gavin Newsom scrambled. It's like you're at work, the supervisor, your boss has a day off, and y'all are chilling, slacking off, and then he calls and says, man, something came up, I need to come in. So you know he's going to get there in 30 minutes. All of a sudden, everybody's scrambling to get things in order, clean up and all of that, because you don't want to get caught with your pants down. You want to make a good impression and act like you're doing good stuff, even though your boss himself may be a slacker or a piece of shit. But they cleaned the hell out of this city in order to make a good impression. Let's look here. Let's look at some of these before and after pics. So as you can see, you got tents going on. I don't know what the hell is she selling box. I don't know what's going on right here. But afterwards, look at that. Wow. Pretty clean. They scrubbed the walls, the awning. Look at this. Like you can see some crud up here. And afterwards, I don't know how the hell they pulled this off. They cleaned the hell out of this thing. I wonder how much they spent on this. Look at this one right here. Tent cities. I'm pretty sure people over there are smoking crack. Pretty sure there's doo-doo not too far, because you know San Diego has that poop app. You know, you're supposed to get on there, log into the app, and identify poop so the poop patrol can come by and clean it up. And damn, where the hell did these people go? Poof. It's like Gavin Newsom them sent these people to another dimension. He sent these people to the shadow realm or something. Here's another one. All of a sudden, wow. Look at this. Look at this here. Wow. I mean, it's crazy how they cleaned up the sidewalks and everything. Let's take a look at this. I don't know what's going on here. Is he on something? Is he sick? I don't know. Looks like he's smoking something right there. Got dirty umbrella sitting out of the cage area. And now look at this. They even wiped down the damn rails of the cage. You can tell it was recent. You can still see where they did some power washing on the sidewalks. Oh, here's the guy right here. He's power washing. He's over here power washing, trying to clean up, but then they still got people over here, but they need to get them up out of there. Like, you gotta go, bro. Then let me show you this one part here. You got gang logos, graffiti on the wall. Person got a walker, half a jug of milk, halfway gone. Over there, trying to live comfortably. Dirt, trash all over the sidewalk, leaves. And damn, I mean, look at this. How the hell they pull this out this quickly? They must have hired a big ass team. The graffiti's gone. I don't know, man. The game makers of San Francisco, they may not like this, man. You creeping up on their territory right now to impress some dude from China. So might be some repercussions. Then I saw some picture where you can see they cleaned it up. It was one image of graffiti, and then after the cleanup there was different graffiti, so they came in right away. As soon as the cleaning crew left, they came in and marked their territory. So you can only fake so much because you're trying to put on an act, but these underbelly problems are still very prevalent, so you try your best to hide it. And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into how they try to hide it and how things were quickly exposed. But what's going on here? Why are these guys so adamant in impressing the president of China? Because money. For one, money is a combination of money and fear of military power. It's crazy how these guys like President Biden and all of these guys, they try to use strategic ambiguity when it comes to the Taiwan issue, when it comes to a possible hot war with China, because they are afraid of China's military power. The military runs all these war games, these simulations, does these deep studies into how a war with China could play out, into what would happen if China attacked Taiwan and the U.S. military jumped into the fight. And every time they run these simulations, all of the studies revealed that the U.S. would be devastated, that the U.S. can't beat China. And the reason why is because it's on China's home turf. So you see how they're using aircraft carriers against Lebanon, against Hezbollah, against Yemen? They can't do that against China. The U.S. military studies show that within the first few days, the U.S. will lose multiple aircraft carriers and thousands of personnel because they're just too close to China, and it gives China a big advantage in terms of firepower. When you have all these ships out here, they're limited in what they can block. And especially now that China has these hypersonic missiles, the U.S. knows that a hot war in the Pacific Ocean on China's turf would be devastating. Now, if they caught China in open sea, that's a different story, but that's not how a war would play out. They're talking about protecting Taiwan's homeland. But besides the military power, there's a whole lot of money coming from China. We all know about the NBA, how LeBron James and a couple other guys went over there to China and they openly kowtowed to China during that free Hong Kong fiasco. We see hotel chains over there praising China while their CEOs in the United States talk about freedom and democracy and all of that. Hollywood, we definitely see what they do. They talk all this crap, virtue signaling, talking about equality, racism, feminism, all that crap. They go over there to China and they forget everything. In fact, we've seen how Disney acts. We've seen that picture, that famous picture, John Boyega, I think that's his name, the black guy from Star Wars, how he was prominent on a film poster. And then in a Chinese version, they took his face off. We see these guys talk about all this righteousness. But when it comes to the people in Hong Kong, when it comes to the Uyghur Muslims, they ain't got nothing to say. Their cop-out is, well, I'm an American, I just have to worry about American issues. Aren't you worried about the Middle East issues? That's not America. So it shows that you're a lying sack of shit. And the reason why they're doing that is because there's a lot of people in China. You're talking about 1.5 billion people. That's a lot of money. So these people want to sell their movies over there. They want to sell their basketball games over there. They want to sell all their products. And on top of selling their stuff to the Chinese market, what they really want, most of these companies really want, is to produce their products over there in China or in East Asia, somewhere, Vietnam somewhere, because they get cheap labor over there. Nike is making a whole lot of profit because, and Apple, because they make their products for cheap. It's cheaper to have your product built by super low wages over there in China and ship the product all the way back versus paying someone to produce the product locally, because you have to pay them $25 an hour with this fight for 15 crap going on. So these people don't want to mess things up with China because of money, because of the flow of money, the cheap labor. Because here's the thing, if you look at how the U.S. treats Russia, how they talk all this crap about Russia, how they hyped up Ukraine knowing that the Ukrainians had no chance, how they provoke Russia knowing Russia's a nuclear superpower and Russia could do far more damage to the United States in a war than China could. But it seems like they're more concerned with the money versus the military power because, of course, the United States was getting a lot of energy from Russia, and Russia could absolutely devastate Europe when it comes to energy, when it comes to natural gas. They could crush them if they really wanted to. Just cut off the spigot. And they could definitely make prices skyrocket. In the United States, energy prices skyrocket, and of course we see what's happening in the Middle East now. Russia could move laterally against the United States and provoke issues across the world, like supporting Iran and Lebanon against the United States, making the United States jump into a hot war. But the United States is more concerned about China. The United States is more concerned about money than nuclear war or anything that the Russians can do to energy, because these companies, these large companies, want their cheap labor, they want their cheap products, because they know it could be economically devastating to piss off the Chinese. And with the way the Chinese run, they get easily offended. Like, they threaten the NBA over their whole thing, and the NBA knows how much money they make in China. They're like, look, man, we know what happened in Hong Kong, we know it's bad, but look, we got money to make. Shut the hell up. Whatever happened to Hong Kong, forget about it. So that's why these people want to impress G so much. That's why, unlike any other leader, they treat this man like a king. They treat him like he's the king of the U.S. You see this image at the beginning, all these people out there while he was driving through. Did you see any U.S. flags? I thought we were in Beijing for a second. I said, this is San Francisco? Where are the American flags? If you come to the United States, your flag can fly next to or under the U.S. flags. We don't need to see 100 Chinese flags out here and no symbolism of the United States. What the hell is going on? But they want to let G know, look, you're either equal to Biden, the U.S. president, or you even higher. And with the way they treat these people, all these big wigs treat this man, they regard him in higher status than the U.S. president. And it was funny as hell, that image of Gavin Newsom, what he said about cleaning up, saying it's true. Yeah, we cleaned up because Xi Jinping was coming. Yeah, we didn't clean up last week, last month, last year. We didn't clean up because we didn't give a damn. We let y'all live and swallow because we didn't give a damn. But hey, we had fancy leaders, as he said it, coming to town, so we wanted to make a good impression. And why could Gavin Newsom so confidently say that and not give a shit? Because they're going to vote for him again. Gavin Newsom is very politically savvy. He knows the political climate, and he knows how these people in California are, and the Democrats in general. He can say stuff like that. It reminds me of Trump, when Trump was talking about he can go out on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and they'll still vote for him. And there's a lot of truth to that. But Gavin Newsom could openly mock his own constituents and get away with it because these people are sheep. They believe that Republicans are evil, racist, bad, and terrible, so they'll vote for them no matter what. We saw that Gavin Newsom shut down the state of California, had the harshest lockdown policies, hundreds of businesses, thousands of jobs completely gone, people losing their homes, people being run out of the state. Larry Elder came in because they ran that recall on Gavin Newsom. Larry Elder came in and said, look, vote for me. The first day in office, you can take those filthy masks off your face. I'm not going to be forcing your kid to get an untested vaccine to go to school. And you can run your businesses. I'm not going to force you to comply with all these nonsensical policies like Gavin Newsom did. These people went out and voted 2-1 against the man who was going to give them more freedom. Against Larry Elder. We know Gavin Newsom has destroyed hundreds of businesses, cost thousands of jobs, sent the economy of California off a cliff. We know that. We know that we're walking around with filthy masks on our face, but we're going to vote for him anyway. And knowing this, Gavin Newsom said, I can tell these people to their face, I don't give a damn about you. I care more about somebody from China than I care about you. He could tell them to their face and they'll still go out and vote for him. And if you don't believe me, watch his next election. Watch what happens. And if he runs for president, which he may do, watch how many votes he gets. Watch how much of the Democrat Party, 85 to 90%, maybe even 95% of the Democrats will vote for him, even though he mocked them to their face. But let's look at some of this backlash. We got an article here from Newsweek. So they recorded a lot of the tweets of people being pissed off and just calling out Newsom for being a shitbag. So let's see what this senator here says. Senator Melendez. Governor Newsom orders homeless camps removed in San Francisco in an obvious attempt to impress his new best friend. You mean his boss? China's communist dictator. Pity he had no desire to impress those who actually live in California. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have to. And like I said, these people in California, they're going to vote for him in droves anyway. If he wants to be governor again, whatever he wants to do, he has California's vote locked up because those sheep will vote for him no matter what. Newsom unapologetically admits he only cleaned up San Francisco because G is coming to town. What he failed to explain is where all the homeless people are now. That's what I'm wondering. I guess she's wondering the same thing. Where the hell did they send these people? We got Kevin Kelly. He said, today Newsom admitted that San Francisco has been hastily cleaned up because all of those fancy leaders are coming into town for the APEC conference. He is trying not just to save himself from humiliation, but to hide the consequences of the failed policies he wants to impose. Yeah. Lawlessness going on in California. It's terrible out there, man. Look at this picture here, man. Look at this. And this is very common. And one of the major reasons, not only do you have a lot of lawlessness, you have people on drugs, you got a major drug and crime issue, you got a major mental health issue going on in California, but you also have a cost of living issue because these people in California love to brag about their salaries and how good they're doing and all this. But here's the thing in California. Most of California, there's no middle ground. There's no middle class because the cost of living are so high. You're either poor or you're upper class. The cost of living, if you want to live in LA or San Diego or San Francisco, you need to make well over six figures. Well over, or you're going to need some roommates. That's one of the reasons why they recently raised the minimum wage for these fast food workers in California to $20 an hour. That's why LA County has this $16.04 an hour minimum wage. And even making $16 an hour in LA, it's unaffordable. The cost of some rundown 50-year-old apartment with roaches and bars on the window, you hear sirens all night long, the trap houses down the street, even a rundown apartment like that gonna cost you a few $1,000s a month. You want to buy a house, it'll be a 3-bedroom house, 800 square feet. I mean, you can't be claustrophobic in these houses. No space at all. You got bars on the window, the stucco is chipping off, neighborhood is raggedy, and the house was built in 1940. And they want $1 million for it. This is the state of California. So you have a lot of people who are just out on the streets. A lot of these people out on the streets, they're collecting some type of welfare benefits from the government, from the feds, or from the state, or both. But they're still out on the street. And they get to a point where they get comfortable because you got all these organizations, the Red Cross, Salvation Armies, and all these other organizations. Every day, 10 trucks from different organizations will stop by a street like this, and they'll just drop off sandwiches, milk, bread, coats, everything that they need to live. Their basic survival needs, they get them. You see these people, oftentimes, they can just get up and leave their tent. They're not worried about leaving their tent abandoned because there's no scarcity. Because the next day, a truckload of them will be dropped off again. And that's how you have all of this homelessness going around, high cost of living, poverty, crime, and just a bad cultural environment. But I just want to know, did Newsom ask Xi Jinping while he was kowtowing, while he was kissing his ass, did he ask him about the Chinese COVID-19 cover-up in Wuhan? Oh, wait, the U.S. was involved with that. Fauci and them were heavily involved with what happened in Wuhan. I forgot. The U.S. already knows. It's just the public. We don't know. The Chinese government knows. The U.S. government knows. But we don't know what the hell went down. But it was one of the most devastating periods of time in recent memory. They don't want to talk about it. We're just going to brush it on the rug, act like nothing happened. So a funny thing happened down here. So while they're staging this event, while they're putting on the act, trying to act like San Diego, some great place, a news crew, a foreign news crew, I think they were Chet. This news crew got robbed at gunpoint. They said they had $18,000 in equipment. And let's take a look at this clip.
San Francisco police tonight are investigating the robbery of a foreign news crew covering the APEC summit. This happened just before 5 o'clock last night in the area of Broadway and Columbus. The journalists are from Czech Republic public television station. They told police that a vehicle stopped on the street and 3 armed men got out and approached them. The suspects demanded their production equipment and the victims complied.
Hiccups as they come. People are confused about what entrances and exits that they can take in the downtown area near Moscone Center. So today is really about trying to make sure people are well informed, that understand exactly what's happening. And we got ambassadors down there, folks giving directions, people who are friendly, and we're hoping for a lot of patience from people who live here, who work here, and especially people who are visiting San Francisco for the first time.
Do you have any response to the Czech news crew that got robbed at gunpoint in front of city lights on Sunday?
Well, I've already met with them, as I know you know. And in fact, San Franciscans have been so hospitable, including a lot of news crews. They've been offered additional resources, so they have equipment so they can continue to be a part of APEC and bring back the kind of footage that they want in order to show off San Francisco, despite the experience that they happen to deal with. But I will say the police department, they've been excellent. The investigation is underway, and any indication of what has happened in the past where we have made multiple arrests in cases involving situations like this, and in some cases recovered equipment, my hope is that we'll be able to do the same.
I heard someone say this is like slapping lipstick on a pig. So you got all these underlying problems going on. This is one of the worst crime-infested cities in the country. But y'all putting on the show, and you can't hide it for long, because if this conference lasts too long, G himself might end up getting robbed. So Gavin Newsom say, look, let's hurry up, get this conference over with. We're trying to suppress the crime, all the squalor. We're trying to hold it back as best we can. We got walls. We built walls around the perimeter where the conference is, even though we say walls don't work. That's a different story. But we're trying to suppress this as long as we can. But if this thing goes on too long, the walls are going to be breached and it's going to be doo-doo all over the place. There's going to be people walking around with cocaine and pissed on themselves, and all y'all going to get robbed. So let's hurry up and get this thing over with. And Biden, he also showed up because G wasn't going to go to D.C. So Biden said, I guess we'll fly to San Diego. So his handlers drug him out there, and he walked through this rich, super luxurious garden at this some luxurious building I don't give a damn about. But they were walking there, and I was just wondering the whole time, is Biden about to collapse? Is he about to trip over his own feet? Because this man does not look good. He looks like he got one foot in the grave. And I was wondering, at some point, is G going to grab his hand and say, easy there, son, easy. But Biden has lost his mind, because the goal was for California and also the feds, Anthony Blinken and all them sons of bitches. The goal was to kiss China's ass, to not offend them, to let G know that you're the emperor of the universe. And Biden, He thought he was back in the 1990s during the Bill Clinton administration. So he got on national TV and said, yeah, Jesus a dictator. Oh, man. The face of his staff, Anthony Blinken, and they're like, oh, my God. Every time Biden opened his mouth, they're like, man, is he about to say something stupid? Is he about to mess up our whole thing? We put on this whole show trying to kowtow to Xi Jinping. Is he about to mess it all up? Is he going to say we're going to go to war with China? So I just thought that was funny as hell because they have this puppet empty suit of a president. But when he speaks live like that, they just got to cross their fingers and hope things go their way. But that wasn't the only drama going on this week. This whole APEC conference over there, Gavin Newsom, them playing the fraud, showing us how much of a fraud he is. That wasn't the only drama. We also had some other type of drama on the conservative side. We had drama between Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro. Let's take a look at a couple of clips.
Well, I am here today to endorse Nikki Haley for president of Israel. I think she's earned that. I think Bibi Netanyahu is going through a very bad time right now. Support for Israel has virtually collapsed socially. If you're paying attention to the trends and you're paying attention to what people are watching, you're paying attention to the protests. And the one person that I think is capable of getting it back is Nikki Haley with enough money from foreign interest lobbies. So there it is, guys. I'm endorsing Nikki Haley, president of Israel.
Yes, the question was about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt, I think it's yeah, I mean, she still works for my company. I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
There are a lot of people in America that are sitting here going, okay, well, can you answer why Jews are so special? Because as white people in this country on university campuses, we are being taught that we are not allowed to have a voice. We have had to endure exactly what you're talking about, BLM. We've endured much worse than you have because it's in the actual textbooks. We are being told that we are systematically racist, that we are born wrong because of the color of our skin. And if we say anything, we'll lose everything. This is the typical experience on white campuses. So people, this is not whataboutism. This is like actually what we have been fighting for years. So it sort of arrived as, I think, for a lot of Americans, a surprise when they're saying, well, now that it's about Israel, which is something that's overseas, we need to, hand these university professors, we need to do something about this issue. Why weren't we trying to correct course on this issue? Why weren't donors pulling their funding out of these universities? Why weren't these same things being said for these last, I would say, 8 years of rampant BLM, white man can't do anything right, actively being taught in the classrooms? So there are people that are asking that question. Now, what I have said is that explicit calls for genocide, which was stunning to me to see that in Congress, are completely wrong. It is frankly crazy. I have not weighed in on the IDF's response in the same way that I have consistently said through every war, Ukraine and Russia, I don't want to be involved. I have said I don't want to be involved in Israel and Palestine, all these conflicts. My consistency seems to offend people, right? But I haven't made a single tweet or a single comment on IDF's response in Palestine. I haven't said a single thing about that. I have said it is always sad when a child dies. And the lack of humanity that I have seen from both sides has been very troubling for me. But to say that I have to weigh in and suddenly wave an Israeli flag and say things that, because you decide that you get to use my platform because it's personal to you, how is that fair to people? How is that fair? And then to go a step further and to suggest that it might be anti-Semitic, which is basically silence is violence, as a leftist tactic, to me feels very extreme.
Okay, so what the hell is going on here? Well, what's going on is Ben Shapiro is demoting. Candace is saying the exact same thing I've been saying this entire time, that the Israeli-Hamas thing's been going on, and even the Ukraine-Russia thing's been going on. My point on this whole thing was put America first. I'm not trying to take sides. I'm not going to be putting a Ukraine flag on my bio. I'm not going to be saying F Russia, I love Ukraine, they're the greatest democracy ever. And I'm not going to do it now with Israel and Hamas. Ever since October 7th, ever since Hamas attacked Israel, killed about 1,500 Israelis and kidnapped a lot of American, French, and other dual citizens from Israel, took them back to Gaza. Ever since that happened, Ben Shapiro has been emoting on the show. This guy has been talking all types of trash, justifying everything that the Israelis are doing. If they're dropping airstrikes and little kids are dying, hey, it's probably a problem. Collateral damage. He's saying, y'all didn't question any other war. When the Americans went over to Europe in World War II and all those innocent civilians died, y'all didn't say anything. When the Americans went to Afghanistan, killed over 1 million people, Afghanistan and Iraq, all those innocent civilians died. And in Vietnam, over 1 million civilians died over there in Vietnam. Y'all didn't complain then. So why are y'all complaining that Israel is dropping bombs on little kids in Gaza? Ridiculous. You talk about the guy who was saying facts don't care about your feelings. I don't know what happened. In this particular case, the man is falling off a cliff. So Candace is saying America first, and in this particular case, I'm on her side. America first. We Americans got our own problems. Like I've been saying about Ukraine and Russia. We don't give a damn about Israel. We don't give a damn about Palestine. We don't give a damn about Ukraine. We got our own problems to deal with. We don't have the energy, the resources, and the capacity to be taking care of the whole world. So the thing about Israel, though, is because all these Zionists in America and all this Jewish money going on in America, if you say anything, if you question anything about Israel's actions in this war in the Gaza Strip, if you question anything, if you just ask a simple question, they'll call you an anti-Semite. How dare you question it? If they drop a bomb in his head, what was there a little kid over there? Hey, are you an anti-Semite? Are you questioning what Israel's done? Hey, maybe they killed 1,000 kids over there, but why are you asking questions? Are you an anti-Semite? Are you a Jew hater? So they're using leftist tactics. Ben Shapiro is using leftist tactics to combat people who ask questions. Candace Owens was simply asking questions and saying, look, we're not taking sides in this. We need to be America first. We need to handle our own business at home. And she's also calling them out. Where's the energy? In any other situation, we don't have all this emoting, but when it comes to Israel, all of a sudden, you all in your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings goes out of the window. Asking a simple question, I guess she's disgraceful. Ben Shapiro called her disgraceful. I mean, she was completely out of line with that. And things got even nastier on Twitter. So we're going to look at a few Twitter posts. The first one is Candace. She's quoting a Bible verse. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Okay, now let's go back and look at Ben responding to this. So Ben says, Candace, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit. Ben Shapiro just told Candace to get the hell out. So it looks like he took great offense to this. First of all, Ben and Candace, they got into it before over Israel because Ben was mad over Candace being close to Kanye West. Kanye West publicly said all types of things about Netanyahu and Israel, even though people in Israel don't even like Netanyahu. But Ben was pissed off about Candace having a close relationship, even hosting Kanye West, giving him a platform. This was months ago. And now he sees that she's not feeling the same way. She's not emoting the way he is. So if you've been listening to Ben over the last month or so, you'll realize that if you're not for all-out war, completely crushing men, women, and children in Gaza, if you're not completely okay with everything that Israel is doing, you're an anti-Semite. You're against his value system. You're an evil, unrighteous person. Just listen to the man. Go back and listen to his podcast, and you will see how idiotic this man sounds on this particular issue because he's very emotional about it. So let's see what Candace had to say in response. She said, you've been acting unprofessional and emotionally unhinged for weeks now. I had the exact same thoughts. I mean, it came to the point where it's unwatchable. Every day his show has been devoted to Israel defeating Hamas, and if you disagree, then you're an anti-Semite, no matter what Israel does. You've been acting unprofessional and emotionally unhinged for weeks now, and we have all had to sit back and allow it, and have all tried to exercise exceeding understanding for your raw emotion. But you cross a certain line when you come for scripture and read yourself into it. I would not tolerate it. So there's a lot of debate saying, well, she was taking a shot at Ben when she did that. So people saying Ben Shapiro is arrogant as hell because he's putting himself into Bible verses. And there are even people showing Ben's history of being extremely anti-Christian, but that's going down a rabbit hole. The bottom line is, in this particular case, Ben is out of line. And yeah, you could feel a certain way because you have a dual citizenship with Israel, because you're a Jew. You have a right to your opinion, but that doesn't mean you need to come for others and demand that others feel the same way that you do. That doesn't mean that we need to agree that we need to spend taxpayer resources and maybe even shed American blood for Israel, even though they claim that Israel doesn't need America. America needs Israel. America is Israel's greatest ally, even though Israel hasn't helped America with a goddamn thing when it comes to America's wars. They haven't offered a single soldier after the 9/11 attack. No Israeli soldiers were over there helping and against the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. But for some reason, even though I see Israel as America's puppet or America's pet, or really Israel is just a glorified American military base for a frontal assault against the Middle East. That's how Israel is. That's how I see it. These people, these Zionists, they claim that Israel is the greatest thing ever and America needs Israel. But that's also going down the rabbit hole. Ben was wrong on the vaccine issue because he heavily promoted it. Ben was wrong against Trump because to this day, he has Trump derangement syndrome. He's very anti-Trump. And he has to kind of sit there and take it and accept the fact that the vast majority of the Republican Party supports Trump. And when it comes to this whole Ukraine thing, and I mentioned this before, Ben Shapiro regurgitated something that Mitt Romney said, which made both of them sound like complete dumbasses, talking about we've only spent 5% of our budget. We've made a great investment in Ukraine. Russia is defeated. We've worn down Russia's military and they're destroyed. First of all, the sanctions didn't work. All these billions of dollars that the United States spent against Russia and Ukraine didn't work. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. It was a horrible investment. On top of that, 500,000 Ukrainian men are dead. But it's a good investment. So some of the biggest issues that we've dealt with, Ben Shapiro was on the wrong side of it. So let's take a look at Candace Owens on Tucker Carlson's show.
So maybe there's a point in the video where he explains what exactly you did wrong and how you were wrong. I haven't seen it. But to call somebody, quote, absolutely disgraceful, particularly a coworker, seems like a pretty big step. What? And I really don't know the background here. What is that about?
You know, there isn't much of a background. I saw the video when everybody else saw it when I woke up.
No one warned you about it.
Nobody warned me about it. It looks like maybe he didn't know he was being recorded. It looks like it was some sort of a private event. I got no clarity on the issue that he was particularly speaking on. And in what was said, I can't respond to it beyond what he's saying because it's just ad hominem attacks. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not, we disagree or I don't think she's correct or maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, exactly. And so I can't respond to it on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed in that, at least in that short clip, that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms of what I said. But I will say that I'm not going to respond with the same ad hominem attacks. Yes. I don't think it helps further discussion. And if that was me that was caught on a video saying that about colleagues that I work with, I would be embarrassed. So I think that the video speaks more to Ben's character than it speaks to mine.
Has he texted you to apologize or explain or anything?
No, nothing. I haven't heard a single word. It just was sort of something that he said. And you know what? Ben and I have many disagreements, so I don't think that that's particularly something that's interesting. We disagreed on the COVID vaccine. We disagree on Ukraine and Russia. He has taken virtually every stance that has been the opposite of mine on every issue over the last 5 years. So I don't think that that's particularly remarkable.
Vaccine. Really, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, he was pro the COVID vaccine. I was anti the vaccine. We were all idiots for not getting the vaccine. So that's totally fine. I am totally open to people having a difference in opinion.
Right.
I would hope that amongst colleagues that it would always be civil disagreement, and I would never in a private event stand on a table and talk badly about Ben.
It's a little weird. So he was on the left on those three biggest issues of our time, is what you're saying?
He has converted his opinions. He's accepted responsibility. He said, I was wrong about the vaccine.
Oh, good. Good for him.
He is, obviously pro-pharma. His mom's a doctor. And I say to people, I'm very aware of my perspectives on big pharma, and I talk about it on my show openly. And I think that that's a tremendous credit to the Daily Wire that they allow a difference of opinions. But I as I said, hope that it would remain respectful and that you wouldn't throw your colleagues under a bus, so to speak.
I think that's fair. And just for clarity, because I really don't know, is he your boss? Does he?
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about Ben's involvement. He's not the CEO of the Daily Wire. He is not making the day decisions at the Daily Wire. And I do want to make it very clear, because people are like, how could you possibly stay at Daily Wire after this? I have a very good relationship with the co-CEOs of the Daily Wire. Especially right now, the acting CEO is Caleb Robinson. He's a wonderful person. He's worked very hard to be where he's at. We have a lot in common that we connect on. And so people don't get to see that, which is unfortunate. Ben lives in Florida. He's not a part of the day-to-day movement of the Daily Wire. The rest of the hosts have their shows situated in Nashville. So we see each other every day. We talk. There's great camaraderie. And there's actually more agreement. There's actually a lot of people that are, as I describe myself, just pro-America first. And I think I've been that way consistently throughout my political career. Whether people agree with it or not in different moments is up for debate. But I don't want that video to become a reflection of how the Daily Wire works and the Daily Wire operates, because I have had a very good experience with the CEOs, and, love Michael Knowles, love Matt Walsh, Andrew Klavan. We all get along really great.
This all should have been handled privately. So Ben openly attacked her, and you see she's explaining to herself. She's being consistent in her position. She's not throwing mud back at Ben. So she's handled it professionally. Ben was very unprofessional. So what they need to do now, they work for the same damn company. Ben's part owner of the company. Get together, have a conversation about it. Have some understanding about it. And Ben, maybe he needs to take a damn vacation, because, like I said, it's been over a month and he's been completely emoting, having a meltdown. And I've never seen this man like that. I had a lot of respect for him, because even though he's been wrong on critical issues like Trump and the COVID-19 vaccine and even the origins, in other cases, he's very smart and a very good communicator, gets points across, and he does really well combating the left. But he and Candace need to just chill. I know she was just responding to him, but just stop talking about it publicly, have a conversation about it. Or even if you want to be public with it, he can go on her show, she can go on his show, let all the viewers see it, hash things out together right there face to face, talk about your issues without personal attacks and everything. And realize everybody's not going to agree with you on this issue. Just because people don't say, let's just carpet bomb Hamas, let's not give a damn about the children, that doesn't mean people are anti-Semites. Just because people don't want to send infinite money to Israel, send American resources to Israel, doesn't mean they're anti-Semites. That means we care about our own country, have our own issues. If Israel is so great and powerful, let them stand on their own. Why the hell do American taxpayers need to keep sending money over there? Are the Israelis going to pay back the favor? Are they going to send money back? If we're sending money to Israel, it needs to be on loans, really. Because all these Zionists have all this money. Israel is so great. America needs Israel. Okay, you want the $14 billion plus the $4 billion a year you've been getting for decades. Take it as a loan. How about we give you that $14 billion on credit? Give it back to us. In fact, give it back to us with interest. How about that? But all of you Zionists, all of you pro-Israeli people, just realize, just because there are Americans, I'm not talking about the people openly supporting Palestine terrorists, openly supporting Hamas and said death to Israel. No, just the normal, regular, common sense Americans. Just because they're not being all gun-ho and following warmonger rhetoric, just because they're not doing that, doesn't mean that they're against Israel. I'm trying to tell you, most Americans don't give a damn about what's going on outside of American borders. There are problems all over. We got problems going on in Africa, warlords, people killing. We got wars going on over there. Why aren't you emoting about that? We got drug lords and cartels and all kinds of violence, sex trafficking, everything going on in Latin America. Are you going to emote about that? We got issues everywhere in the world. The United States of America, the American taxpayers, do not have the burden of fixing the entire planet. The American taxpayers care about what's going on in their own lives. So you're a dual citizen of Israel. You care about the Zionist cause. You can't condemn and call people disgraceful because they don't agree with everything that you're saying or everything that the Israeli government wants to do. America first. So if you enjoyed today's episode, leave a like, share it, and I'll see you guys next time.